So I feel like this video is going to directly contradict my last video, but I feel like I learned a life lesson and I needed to say it out loud. I wanted to have a conversation about loving oneself. And I feel like during this journey of me awakening from the religion and now just like awakening in life, I see how deeply I was emotionally and mentally abused. Ooh, I even used the word abused. In fact, all of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have been abused emotionally and mentally. Let that sit in, let like that really touch your heart that we were abused. I think that this journey started the moment I had a conversation with the elders, because I just felt I didn't feel right. And I said to them, you know, I'm at the hall, and if I'm not at the hall, I'm at work. And if I'm not at work, I'm on field service. And if I'm not at field service, I have to be studying for the meeting. When is there time for me to be my authentic self? I told them, I feel like I have 3 different personalities. I have the personality for the Kingdom Hall, I have the personality for work, and then I have my personality for myself. And when you think of it like that, you realize that you have so much limited time with getting to know yourself. Because the witnesses say that being selfish and using your heart instead of your mind was a sin. But we need to understand sin is what we create ourselves. If you believe you are sinning, then you are sinning. I remember I used to have this boyfriend, and I used to sneak him into my house. And when my mom was sleeping, me and him would be messing around. I didn't talk about any of this in my first couple of videos, but he was a witness as well. But I remember doing all of that and me and my mom struggling terribly financially. And for myself, I believed it was a sin, but then I also believed that I was human. And Jehovah created me imperfect. So when I made mistakes and I went and messed around with boys, I didn't feel like Jehovah judged me as harshly as they taught in the Kingdom Hall. And maybe that was my level of independence that was trying to shine through. But when me and my mother, we were doing so poorly, we would just get these miracles that happened. Like one time, my car broke down. I pulled out I pulled out in front of the Kingdom Hall, and my car shuts off. The elders had to come outside and help me pull my car off to the side of the road. And I would think about those situations. I'd be like, but I came here for you, Jehovah. Like, why didn't you help me get home at least, And then my mom would like view it as like, no, Jehovah got us to the Kingdom Hall because we needed to be here, So that was the kind of spirit that my household was built on. The power of belief. My mom believed, so it made me believe. And then one day, no, that day my mom decided to get my car fixed because that's the only car we had. And she wasn't going to pay the rent because she needed to get to work and I needed to get to school. And so it just made more sense to fix the car than to pay the rent. And so we went to the book study, and the brother gives me an envelope with the exact money we needed to pay the rent. See, that brother didn't know that me and my mom, we were driving to the hall once we got our car fixed, and we're like, you know what? Jehovah gonna take care of us. We don't have to worry about none of this. Like, he got us. And we used to say, like, because it was just me and her, so it was kind of like we was praying out loud, like, we're not worried about it. Like, even though our landlord is harassing us every other day, Jehovah gonna take care of us. We don't have to worry about paying for the rent. He gonna give us exactly what we need. And because I believed, we were blessed, but I was sinning. And I think that kind of cracked open the pipes for me, because I was like, something doesn't make sense. I believe that within the organization, they take that belief away. So now, and they replaced it with tasks and duties. You got to work to show that you love God, when you really just got to believe. And when we believe in God, since we are a product of God, since we are God's spirit, I just discovered the scripture. I reread it outside of the New World Translation, and it said, Jesus is within me. Do you understand? I have never read that scripture like that before. Jesus is within me. And then I remember I drove down the street and I was at the light, and I was like, oh my goodness, Jesus is God. That's crazy. So I got God within me, right? So if I believe in God, believe in myself, then I can literally move mountains. I've been studying about, God's name. And when Moses asked, what should I say to those people? Like, what is your name? And Yahweh, no, not Jehovah, Yahweh said to Moses, I am that I am. I am that I am. Moses was referring to himself. Whenever you say, I am, you're putting God's signature next to your name, because God says his name was I am. So I am smart, I am strong, I am talented. But you curse God, or you curse yourself when you put negativity next to your name. I am mean. That's what my family used to say about me all the time. You're so mean. You're so sarcastic. And then I will introduce myself as, I am so mean. I am so sarcastic. But those weren't my thoughts. Those were someone else's thoughts. So when you enter into the Kingdom Hall and you say, I'm a sinner, you put a curse on yourself. You have to change the way you speak to yourself. And at Kingdom Hall, they have you speak nothing but death, no life to yourself. I'm a sinner. I'm an adulterer. Oh man, I watch pornography. Jehovah hates me. Every time you say God hates you, you're saying I hate myself. God is love. You are love. And the more you show love to yourself, it will be reflected in the people around you. Your life is a projection of how you feel about yourself. So if you feel weak and unworthy because you removed yourself from a religion that literally controlled your mind, that took the Bible and made you their slaves, Remember at the hall, they said we were slaves to Jehovah. Slaves. No, we're not slaves to Jehovah. We are God. We are the creator. We are slaves to ourselves. If people just understand, if they focus on getting to know themselves and controlling their emotions, they will be able to be one with God. I just view life so much more deeper. I look back some of those old videos like, why do I care that people were having threesomes? Why did I care? Why did I care about so many dumb things? When you separate yourself from that reality, you realize, wow, this is foolish. I started posting on my Instagram just stuff about religion, just in general, nothing. And I hate to even justify what I'm doing by saying nothing apostate, but literally just regular Christian theology. I've just been posting on my Instagram, and I've just been watching the follows go away and wither. And I'm like, okay, they're not open to free thinking and learning new material and learning new things and recognizing that this is all a game. This is all an illusion, all of it. When you can unbrainwash yourself from a cult, the goal isn't to jump back into another cult. The goal is to get to know yourself. And I know for myself that my goal right now is to speak to the people. I'm always on a mission to wake people up, to realize that we spent years and years punishing ourselves and making an organization our God, when we have power over ourselves. Thanksgiving just passed, and I'm thankful for myself because I escaped a cult. And not many people can say that. And although our family may look at us crazy, it is okay. It is fine. Maybe I'll put the video on the end of this, but this video, this girl, she gave a story.
Plato's allegory of the cave is a thought experiment, and it goes like this. Imagine that you and everyone that you've ever known were born prisoners inside of a cave. But you have a campfire, you have cots to sleep on, you guys have traditions, you have everything that you would ever need in order to have a full life in this cave. This cave is your world. And every now and then, shadows appear on one of the cave's walls. But remember, the cave is all that you know. So when you're looking at these shadows, you're thinking that they're real. This isn't a shadow of a bird, this is a bird. This isn't a shadow of a dog, this is a dog, you know what I mean? And you go on living in this delusion day to day until one day, you find an opening. And you walk outside, and at first your eyes can't even see anything because the sun is just so bright. But once your eyes adjust, you start realizing the truth. You start seeing what an actual dog is, what an actual bird is, what trees are like. And you start realizing that this whole time you've just been seeing shadows. And so you run back into the cave, but you're stumbling in because it's so dark and your eyes are no longer adjusted to the darkness that you were once so used to. And your friends and family, they see you stumbling and they think that wherever you're coming from has clearly turned you stupid. But you try to explain to them, you're telling them the truth, you're telling them about the real world, you're telling them that they're in a cave, but they don't believe you. In fact, they think that you've gone insane and they try to attack you. And that's when you realize most people are not only comfortable in their ignorance, but they'll defend it. Plato's allegory of the cave is meant to show what one can expect when they try to tell the truth about the system to people who are still plugged in.
But that's how we look when we go back and we try to explain to our family, like, This isn't real. This is not real. This is fake. We look crazy. We look disoriented. So let this be a lesson in only worrying about ourselves, loving ourselves, work on healing ourselves first before we go and we try to save our family. Because you're going to have to take those stones. We are being stoned. We are being hung on the cross because we are speaking truth. But what did Jesus say? He said, the truth will set you free. So, with that being said, I decided that I'm not going to participate in this make-believe world anymore, and I am going to be free, and I'm going to be my authentic self in all things. So, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Isis. Thanks for following my page, and to make up for all the follows that I've lost recently, come follow me on Instagram as well. Did I tell you I wrote a book? Yep, that is me. Remember that fear is false evidence appearing as real. So although you may be PMO and are afraid to come out, it is okay. It is okay. This is an opportunity for you to get to know yourself. And when you are sure about yourself and sure about everything that you believe in and that you stand for, then there's nothing that anyone can say to you that's going to stop you from being you. And that is what I have learned in this past year, to be myself. So I'm not going to be afraid anymore.